Hi everyone, my name is Ahmed and you are watching the Good Studio YouTube channel. So today we are going to create procedural cheese material in Blender. Without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, so let's start by modeling a cheese slice. So to model it, I am going to add a cube here and scale this face on the x-axis. I'm going to scale it on the z-axis too and place it here. Now I'm just going to add a subdivision surface modifier with simple selected so that our geometry will still stay same, and I'm going to increase the level, then right click and shade smooth. Maybe 1 is okay for now. And now I'm just going to add a new model here, add a cylinder, scale it down. Okay, so now just select this edge of this cylinder and bevel it. Now if you guys are going to bevel it, you guys will see this issue, which is it's not beveling from the center. You guys can see it's going forward, but we want it to usually if you guys bevel any object, any edge, you guys will see that it starts the bevel from the from this edge, but in this case it's not doing the same thing. To fix that, what we have to do is just press Ctrl+A and apply the scale of your object. Now if you guys bevel it again, you guys can see the issue is solved. Now you guys can see it's beveling from that same edge. So I'm going to bevel it something around here, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom face as well. So I think that's okay. And then I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier on this object as well, and right click shade smooth. Now I'm going to I think that's okay, scale it up, and now I'm going to place it here. I'm just going to set up a small scene here so that I can see the result. So now I'm going to add a camera here, and I'm going to press Alt+O to snap the camera to the view. Now you guys can see we have this. So now we can move on to our texturing section. So I'm just going to create a new window here, open shader editor, add a new material on it, and I'm going to select the same material on this object as well so that it keeps so because these both are cheese slices, I'm going to rename them here as well. So I'm just going to organize my outliner. I'm just going to rename it cheese slice. So now to start with, if you guys know, first of all we are going to use displacement. So to use displacement in the material, so in the shader editor, you guys need to use the cycles render engine instead of that EV. So make sure you guys are using cycles as a render engine, and feature set will be experimental, and all these settings are up to you guys. You guys can set the device to CPU or GPU, it's up to you. Now just come to material properties, make sure you guys have selected the cheese slice object, and then come down to settings, and in the surface you guys will see the displacement. Instead of bump only, use displacement and bump, so that way we can use the displacement here in our node editor. So now I'm going to add a Voronoi texture here. Maybe I can go into material preview mode, and I'm going to turn off the lightings. Okay. Now if you guys preview this Voronoi texture by holding down Ctrl Shift and pressing right click or left click, you guys will see the result of our Voronoi texture. Now you guys can see we have these small circles here which we are going to use to create our cheese material. So now if you guys have Node Wrangler add-on enabled, you guys can select your Voronoi texture and press Ctrl+D on your keyboard to get these mapping nodes. And now I am not going to use this mapping node, so I'm going to press Ctrl+X on my keyboard to delete it without losing the connection from the texture coordinate to the Voronoi texture. Now instead of generated, I am going to use object here, object coordinate instead of generated. Once you guys get that, you guys can see we have this. And make sure to apply the scale of both of these objects so that you guys can get same even scale here, because if you guys don't apply the scale, you guys can see and the circles are bigger here and the circles are smaller here on this one. But if you guys select both of these and apply the scale, you guys can see now these are even. You guys can see they have same size. Okay, so now this isn't looking like a cheese, so to make it look like a cheese, what we have to do is, for now I'm going to add a color ramp node here after this Voronoi texture, and I'm going to select this white color and I'm going to select a yellow color here. Yeah, so now I am going to and if you guys want the exact same color as mine, you guys can copy the hex code here, or maybe I am going to change the color a bit because I hashtag FFC243. I think that kinda looks cool. Okay. And so you guys can copy this hex code from here if you guys want. And now if you guys can see, we still have this black dot here, so I don't want this, we want to change the color of it, so I'm going to select this black one here and we are going to change it to orange color as well, but we are not going to use the same color, we are going to use a less saturated one. So and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the principled BSDF right now, and I'm going to unplug it from here, use the principled BSDF and press Ctrl, and then I'm going to hold Ctrl Shift and clicking on principled BSDF will connect the material output to it. And now if you guys know, the cheese is kind of, now if you guys know the cheese is more shiny, so to convert it into so I'm going to set the roughness to 0.3 to make it look more shiny. And so now I'm going to add a noise texture here to add some bump to our cheese, because for now it's looking smooth, full, flat. And now if you guys hold Ctrl Shift and click on the noise texture, you guys can preview it. And same as before, as a texture coordinate, I'm going to use object, and now you guys can see the noise texture here, and I'm going to increase the detail to all the way up to 15. And now I'm going to preview the principled BSDF, and I'm going to plug the noise texture into the normal section, which is because the noise texture is black and white for now, and then we need to convert this noise texture into normal data. So to do this, we can add a bump node here, and instead of using the normal section, I am going to use the height so that we can add some bump to it. And you guys can play with the distance value to get your desired look, like how much bump you guys want. And now you guys can see it's not looking like a cheese. The cheese is like smooth, but so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decrease the strength value to get my desired look, and I am just going to play with the strength value and the distance value. Now once the samplings are done, you guys will see the result, and I'm going to decrease it more to 0.1 maybe. Yeah, I think that's okay. Point one is working for me best. You guys can play with your own values to get your desired look. And so now we have our cheese, but it's not looking like a cheese because we don't have holes in it. So now we are going to add some holes here. So to do this, I am just going to add a displacement node here, and to see what actually happening here, we need to plug the displacement into this material output node. And for now you guys will see nothing because we have not given any information to our displacement node. So we need to give some information to it so that it can display our object. And if you guys preview the Voronoi texture, you guys can see we already have our texture map which has the areas where we want our holes to be. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use the Voronoi texture and plug it into the displacement, and make sure to plug it into the height section. And now you guys just have to play with these values, the scale value and the mid-level value. And I'm going to set the mid level to 0 for now. So, and you guys can see I have this. And now if you guys preview the Voronoi texture here, you guys can see it's looking good, but it's not contrasty. So maybe if I can bring the scale up to 0.5, as you guys can see it's looking good, but it's not contrasty. So to add some contrast to it, what we can do is we can add a color ramp node here on this line, and I'm gonna bring this down here. And now if we preview the principal BHDF, and I am going to decrease the white value. As you guys can see, I am waiting for it to load. As you guys can see, we have this, and I'm going to make it more closer, something around here. And now you guys just have to play with the color ramp node to get your desired look. And I'm going for something like this. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to come to the Voronoi texture, and I'm going to play with the scale value of it to get my desired look on holes, like how I want the holes to look like. And you guys can play with this scale value to get your desired look. And now if you guys can see, our cheese is and now I'm just going to play with the mid-level value to get this cheese in its original shape back. And 0.87 is working for me best. You guys can use it. Now you guys just have to play with this color ramp node and this Voronoi texture and this displacement node to get your desired look. And so now you guys just have to play with these values to get your desired look. And now I'm just going to render it, and as you guys can see I have this result. So yeah, that was it for today's video. If you guys have learned something, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, peace out.